But you know what? I'm just glad that they're at least keeping this crap away from the kids. You know, since they're always saying how evil Democrats are the ones indoctrinating kids, at least we know that they would never force their kids to go along with this shit. Oh, wait a minute, what's this?
Now, Colin, can you tell us how old you are?
I am 10 years old.
And why do you support President Trump?
Because he protects us, he protects America, and he was making a border for the U.S. and Mexico to separate us so nothing bad happens. As in, like right now, as people are hurting the USA from Mexico, and if it was under Trump and Trump was president, it would never happen, and all the wars wouldn't happen. Like
And what's worth more under President Trump? Hold that up.
Turn it around, babe. Show the camera.
The dollar was worth.
The dollar is worth more under President Trump.
Open it up.
Yes.
Yep, show us how the dollar's worth more by holding up a fake bill that isn't worth anything. That poor kid really looks like he's enjoying himself, doesn't he? But forcing kids to do things that they don't want is nothing new for MAGA, since just one day after evangelical church leader and MAGA musician Zachary Radcliffe, pictured here being all buddy-buddy with Don Jr., was arrested for child sex crimes, the very next day, another maggot pedo got what was coming to him when former Oklahoma City manager and police officer Coyote Dunn was arrested for manufacturing and possessing child porn. You guys noticing a pattern yet? Oh yeah, and you might remember from a couple streams ago that handy list of prominent Republicans that are now convicted pedophiles that I said was out of date. Well, I managed to find an updated version of it, and although it isn't quite as long as I said it probably would be, it is almost double in length since the original meme was created a few years ago. Of 8,737 total offenders, Republicans make up 74.3%. Number of drag queens, a whole whopping 1. Keep in mind how it's always the Republicans claiming that the drag queens are the ones posing the threats to kids. Transgender people, 4. Democrats coming in at 10.8. Unknown at 12.2. And Libertarian, that little sliver there. Yeah, so you guys can go through this list here if you want. Congressman, activist, committee chairman, legislative aide, preacher, talk show host, anti-gay activist, party leader, politician, anti-abortion activist, country councilman, activist, strategist, city councilman, businessman, director of Young... Didn't see what that was. GOP candidate, former chairman of Jones County Republican Party, GOP strategist, pastor at First Baptist Church. GOP donor, sheriff's deputy, Republican candidate for Texas, Florida GOP political consultant, North Dakota Republican state senator. So this is why they're so pro-life. Can't have you aborting all their future victims. Which is why it isn't exactly surprising that Republicans seem to have no problem electing a convicted sexual abuser/rapist and accused pedophile for president. Judge clarifies, yes, Trump was found to have raped E. Jean Carroll. On the third occasion involving the defendant Donald J. Trump, the plaintiff, Katie Johnson, was forced to engage in an unnatural lesbian sex act with her fellow minor and sex slave Maria Doe, age 12, for the sexual enjoyment of defendant Trump. Oh yeah, and speaking of rape, here's a not-so-fun fact. A new study estimates that 64,000 women and girls got pregnant as a result of rape in states with abortion bans, which means they'll either have to travel out of state to get an abortion in a non-authoritarian state, or if they can't afford to do that, then they'll just have to give birth to their rapist's baby. So you can thank Trump's MAGA-packed Supreme Court for that, ladies. Keep in mind that this psychopath has already said he plans on appointing 2 more judges when he gets back in, because apparently he hasn't done enough damage already. The research letter published by JAMA Internal Medicine estimated that nearly 520,000 rapes were associated with 64,565 pregnancies across 14 states. Mississippi abortion bans forced 13-year-old rape survivor to give birth. We broke Roe v. Wade, and now the states are working very brilliantly. Oh yeah, so brilliantly.
They're in, but one more thing I want to get to, Supreme Court. You appointed 3 justices. I mean, it was a massive triumph for your administration in 4 years. It led to giving the states the rights to decide whether abortion should be limited or not. In a second term, anybody on the top of your list for that?
I have a lot of people that I think about. I've gotten to watch judges very closely, and yeah, I do. I have a lot, and we could get to appoint another 1 or 2 maybe, but I do watch that very closely, and some judges I have great respect for, great respect. I'm very proud of the people I appointed.
And here's a little tidbit for all you pro-lifers out there that think you're saving babies. In the year and a half following the Supreme Court Dobbs decision that revoked the federal right to an abortion, hundreds more infants died than expected in the United States, new research shows. The vast majority of those infants had congenital anomalies or birth defects. Earlier research, spurred by a CNN investigative report, found that infant mortality spiked in Texas after a 6-week abortion ban took effect in 2021, and experts say the new data suggests that the impacts of the bans and restrictions enacted by some states post-Dobbs have been large enough to affect broader trends. This is evidence of a national ripple effect regardless of state-level status. And just to really emphasize the fact that Republicans are doing everything they can to strip women of their rights, here's MAGA Christian pastor Joel Webbins stating in no uncertain terms that he absolutely wants women to not be able to vote.
Yeah, I think the 19th Amendment should be repealed. I think that because, well, first and foremost, because I'm a Christian, and that is the Christian position. Oh my gosh, you're saying that? Yes. That is the Christian position. By repealing the 19th Amendment, just for the record, it's not just trying to take away a female vote, but it's trying to say, no, there's a family vote. Right. There's a household. And it's like, well, where do women get their voice? Where women get their voice is from their father, from their husband. If they're not married, it's from their father. If they're not married and their father is dead, it's from their brother, it's from their uncle, it's the men in their lives that love them.
And if they happen to not have any men in their life, well then, fuck you, honey, no votes for you. Gotta love those Christian values, huh? Just can't figure out why people aren't going to church as much anymore. Between this shit and the rampant pedophilia, it's a real mystery.